Gamecast from MSN.
Hi and welcome back to Gamecast, the MSN Tech and Gadgets gaming podcast. You're going to be listening to Ian, our host.
Hello there.
And myself, Jane. I'm one of the Tech and Gadgets
Sorry, it's me
editors.
being all proper and hello there, yes. Sorry, carry on, Jane. Sorry, I do apologise.
That's
yeah.
okay. And Nick Taylor, who
Hello,
is
Nick.
also editor on Tech and Gadgets. So take it away, Ian.
Well, I kind of like starting with finding out what we've all been playing this week. I'm going to put my cards on the table. I've had my GameCube out this week. I'm one step away from getting my N64 out. I've ordered. I've just got GoldenEye off of eBay, but I've been playing GameCube SSX Tricky. Like for the last 2.5 weeks, just solid. I'd forgotten what a fantastic game it is. Still stands the test of time. It plays brilliantly. The sound is fantastic. The atmosphere is great. It's got a steep. The learning curve is just right. That you, by the time you get to the third or fourth track, it's, you're in crazy territory. So I've been playing that. I'm loving it.
I was always into another snowboarding game, Cool Borders. Remember Cool Borders?
Oh yeah, I do remember Cool Borders. I never played it. Was it any good?
Yeah, I loved it. I used to play that loads. It was on the PlayStation. I don't know if it was on any of the other platforms.
I do remember. I tell you what was a rubbish snowboarding game. Do you remember Amped on the Xbox when it first came out?
Yeah.
It was like one of the launch titles, Amped. And it looked amazing. It was unlike anything we'd seen, but it was just the most difficult game to play. There was no pick up and play. You had to spend. It was rubbish. They brought out Amped 2 as well. What's your favourite snowboarding game?
I'm staying quiet. I don't
Okay.
think I've ever really played one.
Oh, you should.
I might play
Tricky's good.
the Wii one they're bringing out,
With
and
the
it
balance
uses
board.
the balance board from Wii Fit,
Oh,
so
really?
you actually get to.
Yeah, don't get tricky on the way. I got that, and it's awful.
Okay.
Just because you do waving the arms, but it's one. But the balance board might be. I'm still not convinced by this balance board. I think I said last month that I was unsure about
Yes.
it.
Yes.
But we'll see. But Nick, what have you been playing this month?
I've been playing. Well, I've just started playing Spore. I got a hold of a copy of that yesterday.
Oh, okay.
And so, yeah, I've been getting into that, which
Now-
I think that might take up a lot of my time.
Is that any good? Because I got sent a copy of Spore a while ago, and do you know what? I gave it away to someone. I thought, well, this is before the whole Spore, because I've read a lot more about it and thought, actually, this looks quite good. I wish I hadn't given it away. I knew nothing about it. I thought, this looks a little bit.
Did you play it before you
No, I
gave it away?
didn't. No, that was the big mistake. The cover didn't drag me in. There's
That was a bit of a schoolboy error.
Is it good? Because I've read brilliant things about it.
Yeah, well, it's good so far as I've got on it. But like I say, I only got it yesterday, so I've literally just started.
So is the premise you make monsters?
Well, that was the little bit that they gave away at the beginning, the
Right.
creature creator.
Yeah.
But the game itself, you start as a single cell just floating around,
Yeah.
like sort of the newly formed Earth. And you gradually evolve from there. You take control of this little cell, and you design the creature as it evolves. So it designs according to your imagination.
Sounds
You
very
go through
scientific.
all the stages.
It sounds high on science, low on fun.
Well, it's high on science, but they also make it really easy to
Okay.
to play. Like, you've got skill levels, so you can choose how easy
Yeah.
you want it to be. But it is very playable. And you go through all these levels until ultimately you take off up into space, and you can go and
He says it so matter-of-factly that you take off up into space. And,
Obviously.
well, yeah, but it's you can explore all of these different planets then, and go around, and you can go to all the planets that are full of all the creatures that other people have
So
created.
this is I'd say, what's the online element? That's where you go to other people's planets.
Yeah.
And you see their. And do you mate with their creatures? Can you?
I think you generally just kill them, actually.
Oh, I see. I've gone for the love side of things, and you've gone for the hate side of things. So hang on. This is on PC, isn't it?
Yeah,
And Mac.
Oh, it's not, okay. So you go and you meet other creatures and you kill them.
Yeah,
Oh, that
pretty
sounds,
much.
sounds good enough.
Well, you can be nice to them. You can be friendly to them. There is that option there that you can go and sing to them and stuff.
And do you sing to them, Nick?
No, not really. I didn't really go for that side.
Do you know? Maybe I got sent the creature creator. Maybe I didn't get the full game. In
Yeah,
which case
quite
that would-
probably.
that would make more sense. Is it worth getting? I don't play. I haven't played it. I haven't got a PC. I've got a laptop and I've got a Mac. But I haven't played a game on my computer. I know, like 5 years or something.
I know exactly what you mean. I find it a bit too much like being at work a lot of the time, sitting down at a PC. But yeah, it's fun. I do wish they'd already had it out on consoles. It would be cool. But I'll give it a go on the PC.
Why is it not?
looks
What is it? Is it? Would it work on consoles? Has it got? Do you need keyboards and things?
No, not at all. I think it's a really good fit for a console. I don't know why they haven't done them in tandem, but they are going to
coming
do
out,
it,
is it?
apparently. Yeah.
Okay, that's very exciting. What have you been playing this week, Jane?
I've been playing Viva Pinata 2. Do you remember the first one?
Well,
out tomorrow.
I never played Viva Pinata. I read a brilliant article about it that made it sound fantastic.
Yes.
And coincidentally, I got a copy of it the other week, but I've not
did
played
you?
it.
I have.
Is the first one worth having a go at?
If you've got the second one, just play the second one.
Really?
It's like an improved version of the first.
How have they improved?
It's bigger, it's expanded. I mean, it's the same basic gameplay mechanics. So
Was it Rare that made this?
It is Rare.
Because I read an article saying that it had bombed. Maybe I got this wrong. But the first one had bombed so badly that everyone was going, it was brilliant, but no one was buying it.
Yeah.
That Rare kind of were in a bit of trouble.
Well, I think there was an issue because it came out at exactly the same time-ish as Gears of War. And
Oh,
so
yes, I've
obviously
heard
that
of
made
that.
the huge
Yes,
splash.
that's
and
a big game.
Viva Pinata was a little bit of a sleeper hit. And plus it's a completely different game. It's a kid's game, so it kind of got overshadowed. But it's good fun. And I went to a press event yesterday and they had life-size pinatas, guys in suits. And
And you
if
bashed them with a stick
I
and
did,
sweets
hit them
come
with
out their
sticks.
backside. Is that how it works?
Not quite. But there's a picture of me on the blog with these giant pinatas. So go check it out.
Now, Gears of War 2 is coming out soon, isn't it?
Not that soon.
You all right, Nick? Got a bit excited.
I'm looking forward to that.
Well, someone in another life someone phoned up and said, "Oh, I've played Gears of War 2. I've had a go on it, and it's brilliant." And it got me because I did this Gears of War, I think last month or the month before. But I've had a big clear out of games this month, a big clear out, and we'll talk about that maybe a bit later on about what you do with old games. And I kept Gears of War, and I thought, well, maybe I've not given it. Maybe I need to have another go at this and sink my teeth into it. Gears of War 2 is going to be quite exciting, I suppose.
It's going to be ace, yeah. But I did exactly the same thing with the original. I got it and didn't really get into it at first, and came back to it after a few weeks, and played it all the way through several times after that.
It sat there on the shelf. You're not a Gears of War fan, are you,
I
James?
played it, but it's not.
It's boys' game, isn't it?
No,
It's all fighting and throwing weapons and
It's a
stuff.
bit stupid.
But that's what I thought was a bit stupid. But I'm prepared. Very, very rarely am I wrong about things, and even rarer do I admit that I'm wrong about things. I'm kind of thinking, well, maybe I should give it another go and perhaps put my hands up and say, well, I missed this one, and it was. I tell you what, this month I shall play Gears of War, the first one. Second one, if anyone wants to send me a copy of it, and I will come back and let you know whether I was right or wrong, or not. Now, this month we were going to talk about underrated games. We did a podcast a while ago where we talked about overrated games, and we had some people say, "Whoa, hey, you're being really negative. Let's have some positivity." So we want to look at underrated games, things that have perhaps gone unnoticed. And it started with me thinking of Vib Ribbon, which is this weird game for the PlayStation, which I was looking at online. It's like 25 quid to get it second hand. I thought, stuff that. But it was this weird kind of... the screen was black. It was black and white. There was a line that went along with different shapes, and you were a rabbit, and you could play the music that was on the game, or you could put your own CD in, and you had to kind of press the buttons in time to the shape that the rabbit was dancing over, and sometimes the rabbit would turn into a toad. It was weird. It was like a proper hardcore weird Japanese game. And I was looking at it online on, I think it's vibribbon.com, I think. And I was there for like 25 minutes going, well, is the game here? Am I just looking at stuff? I don't think the game is on there. And in the end it gave me a headache and I had to turn it off. But it still looks just beautiful. You two never saw it, did you? You youngsters.
I'm pretty sure I played it
Yeah.
just a couple of times. It definitely rings a bell. But it came out at the same time as a lot of crazy sort of rhythm games like Parappa the Rapper as well, I think.
Parappa the Rapper was I've got the album of that. I've got the soundtrack album to that. It's a work of art. That was one of the few... That was my phase in my life when I was just getting games, playing them, and then getting another game. I sat down and played. I completed that. And even my sister, who hates video games, hates them. She loved Parappa the Rapper. She loved it to the point where I actually bought her this. He's released another album that isn't the soundtrack. It's just him doing like raps and stuff. But Kick Punch, it's all in the mind. If you want to follow me, I'm sure you'll find the things I teach you. I can't remember the rest of it. It's a genius game, Parappa the Rapper. But that was like, again, I don't think, maybe it wasn't that big over here, Parappa the Rapper. It was huge in Japan, and you can still get Parappa toys, and he occasionally pops up. You know, some games they have like guest stars from other games. I was playing something the other day and he popped up in it. But it was huge. Did it sell over here? Did it ever take off over here?
I think it did a bit, certainly more than Vib Ribbon. But,
yeah, definitely.
but
Yeah.
he's not like still around as a game character now, is he?
They did release Parappa the Rapper 2, which I think was awful.
Oh yeah.
I don't think had the you had to be I think there was one bit you were a giant onion that was doing a chicken that was doing a cookery program. Then you were a bloke that needed to go to the toilet, and you had to rap your way to the front of the queue to get to the toilet first. Otherwise, it was work of art. Well, there's a whole. Well, maybe in a later date we'll do a whole show on just Japanese games because they are messed up, aren't they? Just the most maddest. Sorry, going off on a tangent. What was the game where you had to take pictures of stuff? Mr. Sugochi's Snapper game or something.
Oh, you've lost me.
But you had to go. I think I may have slagged it off actually, but you had to go round. What was it called? It was got quite a bit of press. You had to go around and take pictures of things. Like you'd be walking along, and then suddenly there's a bird laying an egg. You've got to take a picture of it quickly, and if you get it just at the right time, then you got like bonus points and. Looking at blank faces here.
It sounds ace, but yeah,
it was brilliant. All right, what the underrated games, Jane? Have you got anything that you thought was
speaking
missed?
of Japanese music games, Gitaru Man for the PS2. It sold like 3 copies in the UK, but it was really good.
Gitaru
really catchy.
Man?
Gitaru Man.
Right.
Sounds Japanese.
Was that kind of like, what was that like?
It was a rhythm music game. You play an electric guitar,
Yep.
if I remember correctly, and there's a talking dog, and it looks very Japanese. It's really cute, really catchy. So I recommend it. If you can get hold of a copy, there aren't many.
Well, that's the thing with these. Especially the Japanese ones, but the ones that went unnoticed, they cost a fortune now.
They
to
do,
get them in a
they do.
second-hand shop or.
Yeah.
I've never heard of Gitaru Man. Because the rhythm games, there was a big thing, wasn't there, where rhythm button bashing games came out. There was another one. Bishi Bashi was that one, or if I just made
it up?
If there isn't a game called Bishi Bashi, then go and buy. I think there was, and there was like 100 games in it, and you literally. And there was a lot of that sort of Daley Thompson button pressing stuff, and then there was stuff where it was red, green, blue, and yellow, and you had to hit the right button. And it's called like Bishi Bashi or Boshi Bishi or something.
I will go look it up.
Maybe I've just had someone's fed me some sort of hallucinogenic drug in the last 5 hours, and I don't know. Okay. I'm sure the forum fans will say yes, Bishi Bashi Boshi was a game. I'm sure they will.
They might.
It does sound like a strange dream.
It does sound. Yeah, I'm doubting myself now.
Okay,
Nick, have you got anything?
Well, I kind of came to the conclusion I'm a bit of a mainstream gamer, really, because I looked around for what people considered underrated games, and I'd never heard of any of them. But
I think that's what makes them underrated, right?
yeah, exactly. So I think I tend to stick to like whatever's top of the charts. I think mine, the one that first sprang to mind was Mercenaries. Which they're bringing a sequel out now, so maybe it wasn't that underrated, but it came out at the same time as I think Vice City, one of the GTAs anyway, and it was effectively the same game but in a war zone,
right?
And it was really, really good and really well done.
You say that I've had it clear out of games, and I've got Mercenaries, and I've never played it.
Oh, yeah.
I kept it. I thought, well, this there could be something in it. It's worth having a go, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. It was a good game. Well, like I say, the sequel is coming out, so I'll probably blow it away. But have a look at that and Gears of War.
Well, I say going off, and I apologise, dear listener, if you're struggling to follow this, but I'm a bit excited today for some reason. But I've just got GoldenEye on the N64 again after not having it for years, and I want to finish SSX Tricky and then get the N64 out of the museum and just have and teach my girlfriend how to play GoldenEye. 4-player sessions on GoldenEye. Oh. It doesn't get much better than that, I'm afraid.
Well, we'll come round for GoldenEye.
Oh yeah,
because you've still got to come round mine for Rock Band.
Oh yeah, we should definitely do that. Let's definitely. I'm up for a GoldenEye session and a Rock Band session. Yeah, or I'll bring N64 round to yours. We'll have a session on it.
Perfect.
Jane, you coming?
Yeah.
Let's actually do this. Let's not, let's make this happen.
Bit of gaming trivia. The people who made Viva Pinata, Rare, they actually made GoldenEye. Did you know that?
Did I know that? I don't think...
They made Donkey Kong Country, they made Banjo-Kazooie.
Yes, I knew they made Donkey Kong Country and Banjo-Kazooie. I didn't know they made GoldenEye.
Yeah, I mean, this is ages back, so it's
Yeah.
all different people. But I thought that was quite cool.
I met one of the guys who is one of the bad guys in GoldenEye. Not in the film, in the game. They scanned all their own faces, didn't they? And there's a fat guy with a beard. I don't know his name. If he's listening, I apologise. Being rude. I played. This was a game. Star Wars games. I don't like Star Wars. It's rubbish. The films are rubbish. All of the films are rubbish. especially the first 3, even though I've not seen them. But my friend who's a Star Wars fan says that they're rubbish.
Right.
But a brilliant game. Was this underrated or not? I don't know. On the N64, Star Wars Episode 1 Racer. And it was again, I've not seen the film. It's got Jar Jar Binks in it, which I believe is a very, very bad thing.
Yes.
But I think it was the N64. Maybe it was the GameCube. I think it was the N64. And it was just the racing game, the racing scene from the first Star Wars film.
Oh, pod racing.
Yeah, the pod racing.
Oh, okay.
And it was brilliant. The game was
I played
brilliant.
it in the arcade, actually.
Yeah,
There's a really nice arcade machine.
Oh, yeah, I remember seeing the arcade.
Yeah, that was good.
It was good. And I think it was N64. And it was fantastic. And it was the fact that it had very little to do with Star Wars. You didn't need to be a Star Wars fan, obviously, to know what it was you were playing. But it was brilliant. It was exciting. It was a really good racer. And you have to be careful with Star Wars games because I would say about 70% of them are cack, aren't they? There's just really lazy, let's put Star Wars on the name and it will sell. But there are some real gems in this, some real hidden gems in it. And I think that was a good. By the way, if anyone is listening, you're listening to this and you disagree or agree or you hate what we're saying, what's the forum that they can go to? And
tech.uk.msn.com. Come over to the message boards and let us know what you think.
I've just started messaging on the message board.
Yes, I noticed.
I know. No one. I did it too
You
late.
scared
for anyone.
everyone off.
I know. No one's replied. I was hoping they'll go, well, that's not really him, but it was me. But I will start messaging on there and sticking up for myself. I'm not going to be bullied anymore. Have you got any more, Jane?
Yes. Arty kind of Japanese underrated game, Ico.
Oh, that
Ico,
was
you played
brilliant.
Ico, fantastic.
Is that the one where you had to lead, like, you were holding like a little girl's hand or something? You had to
Yeah,
lead
and you're
her
leading
around.
her out of a castle.
That was
amazing.
brilliant. That was a good game.
Thank you.
And was that PS1 or PS2?
PS2, 2001.
It looks stunning as well. I wonder what it would look like now.
Maybe not as good, but there was the sequel, which was also brilliant and underrated, although critically, acclaimed, called Shadow of the Colossus. And it's very good.
I've never even heard of that.
Get hold of a copy.
But so the game, the first one, Ico, you were like a boy and you had your younger sister or something, and you had to lead her out of a castle?
She was like a princessy sort of character. You were like cursed because you had these horns.
Oh, okay.
You were left in this castle as a sort of human sacrifice.
Yeah.
And then you were trying to escape. And it's this immense, deserted old castle, and you're trying to lead this girl out who doesn't speak your language.
And you didn't kill anything or anything, did you? You just had to work out the problem of how to...
scared these black ghost things away with a stick.
Okay.
You didn't really kill anything.
And you sort of had to work out how to get her up.
Yeah, because she couldn't climb and jump to the same extent that you
Did you ever see this, Nick?
I remember it coming out. But I didn't have a PS2.
Top 10 fanboy. Oh, is it in the top 5? I'll have that one then, please, sir. Come on. That was a fantastic game. I remember seeing it being like premiered somewhere. Did it come out the same sort of time as Devil May Cry?
It may.
For some reason, I linked those. I've got those two games in my head as sort of coming out at the same time. I remember seeing them at the same time, I think, and everyone just going, "Wow, it looks stunning." But I'm guessing didn't sell anything.
Not really.
Yeah.
Not in this country, anyway.
Yeah, Japan. It sort of loads. Twisted Metal. Does anyone remember the Twisted Metal?
Oh, was that a bit like Burnout?
It was sort of like Burnout, but it was more, if this is the game I'm thinking of, it was more aggressive. Basically, you were driving a car or a truck or an ice cream van, and it had machine guns on it. And now this is underrated or just lost in the history of time, I don't know. And you drove around town, and you had to smash into loads of other vehicles and try and destroy them. The first one I think was a PS1 game, and very exciting, 1 player, 2 player, whatever. Then I remember they brought it out for the PS2, and it was online, and it was it may have been one of the first online PS2 games. You couldn't talk to anyone in it. You just logged you went into a room, you joined a game, and you just smashed the hell out of each other, like real violent. It was more like Destruction Derby.
Well, I was going to say Destruction Derby because we were talking about forgotten classics. That was
a good game. That was an early PS1 game.
Yeah,
I remember because that a lot of people will know this because it came on the demo disc you got with the PS1 when you first bought the PS1. You got like 60 seconds game or a round of it, and it was just like this. I remember playing a flipping heck. This is proper. This is a proper game.
You just went into that pit, didn't you? And you had to survive for as long as possible, taking out the other car. Yeah, brilliant.
It was good. I don't think the game stood up to much scrutiny beyond that. I think once you got the proper game, it was a little bit, well, we've done this now. But yes, Twisted Metal was kind of like that, but in town.
Nice.
I'm getting this is going to cost me a fortune, this podcast, because I'm all these games thinking, Twisted Metal, actually I could do with digging that out and having a go in that, and I know I haven't got it because I've got hardly any of my PS2 games left. Samba de Amigo. That's coming out soon, isn't it? Because we were all invited to the Samba de Amigo launch party.
We couldn't make it.
None of us could go. Sorry, Samba de Amigo fans. But
Sounded
again,
good.
Send us free copies of it. That was underrated. I'm surprised they're bringing it out because it was a brilliant game. I had it on the GameCube. I think it cost, with the maracas and the mat and everything, it was about 99 quid, I seem to remember paying. And again, wouldn't have sold... Didn't have that... I was disappointed. I played it again on the Dreamcast last month. Didn't have that many songs on it. I forgot you had to go on and download loads of the songs, including the best version of Take On Me ever by a band called Real Big Fish. It's like this punk ska version. It's fantastic. But they're bringing that out for the Wii, or maybe it's out by the time...
It's coming out soon, very soon. I haven't got the date.
I wonder how many that will sell. I mean, I know it's slightly more... It's slightly in tune with what the Wii is, and you don't need the extra hardware. But that was part of the fun of the first one. You actually had maracas that made... rattling noises.
So with this, you use the remote as your maracas.
I'm assuming you do. That would make sense, yeah. Which
Oh.
is you lose part of the fun because you haven't got the.
You at least want a little maraca attachment at the end of your remote, don't you?
Well, maybe.
Add-on.
You know what? That's not a bad idea, and that's something we could knock up quite easily.
Yeah,
we could do
some
that
rice in like a
in a
little
tin,
box and
stick
throw
it on the
end.
top.
Yeah.
That would work quite well. But yeah, I'd be interested to see how well that's going to sell. Anything else that you've come up with?
Well, we've got the forum commenters,
forum
so
people,
we
yes.
can...
Very quickly, can I just say, Jet Set
Yes.
Radio, would we say that was...
Remind me.
Dreamcast, one of the first cell shader games, so when it came out, everyone was like, wow, I've never seen anything like this. It was, you were a skateboarder, but it wasn't like Tony Hawk's, it wasn't kind of like real-time physics. You had to go around these Japanese towns, like Tokyo, and paint your graffiti.
Yes.
And it had
I
an
remember.
amazing soundtrack.
Yeah. And you
And-
had to like spray your tag over other people's tags. Or
Yeah, exactly. You had to
something
do
like
that kind of
Yeah,
thing.
that was really
and again,
good.
it was Dreamcast, so a lot of Dreamcast games just went ignored because no one really bought into it as much as they should have done. Well, it's still one of the best consoles ever. I'm trying to look at it, underrated. I would say it probably was. By the fact that I've had to spend 3 minutes talking to you for you to remember it. But do you know what I mean? People... No, because
It may well have been. Yeah.
it may have just slipped away. And brilliant. And they should, bring that out on the Wii.
It did come out on the Xbox at launch.
Did it really?
Yeah, Jet Set Radio Future. I don't know if that was a sequel to the Dreamcast one or the same. But
I don't remember
yeah, I bought it with my Xbox. That sort of.
Any
when-
good?
I liked it for a little while, but
Yeah.
it depends. I think really if it's
Yes.
your sort of game.
Yes.
But yeah, it looked beautiful. It's really cool.
I like
the whole
cel-shaded
art's
games.
great. Yeah.
Yeah, I like those. I remember it was a big furore that there's a Zelda that's cell shaded, isn't there? And everyone's oh no, you can't do that. I quite like cell shaded. We should have a cell shaded revival. Anyway, sorry, the forum. Yes.
Sure. Right. Well, the nature of underrated games is that I'm going to read these out, and most of us aren't going to recognise these.
Come on,
But
let's yes.
Chris Jones, on the subject of underrated games, it seems that Red Faction 2 has been looked over for many, many years. Anyone? Red Faction 2?
That's not a Command and Conquer spin-off, is it?
It's a
It's
sci-fi
something like that.
FPS, apparently. So it's probably...
no, it's not
I think you're thinking of Red Alert.
Yeah, Red Alert is exactly what I'm thinking
Yes.
of. No, I
No?
don't know that game.
Moving on.
But no, well, I'm tempted. Is it a PC game or?
It's PC, PS2, Xbox, GameCube.
I'm tempted. See, people are saying these games. These are the hardcore people. They know what they're talking about.
do.
I'm tempted. What was that? I'm actually going to.
Red Faction 2.
Red Faction 2. Okay, that's on the list. Okay, yes, go on.
Burnout 3. I think we've mentioned
That
Burnout.
Burnout 3. Now, my friend, I was talking to my friend Conan the other day, who's a big gamer, and I was saying we're doing this. I said, any underrated games you think slipped under? He said Burnout 2. Because he said Burnout 2 had a better soundtrack. It was more 80s soundtrack. It had better physics, and it was more pick up and play.
Possibly.
But Burnout 3, who's?
I think Burnout 3 was Burnout 3 Takedown was the full name. So I think there was more emphasis on actually making other people crash.
Right.
I mean, although
There
that was
was.
always part of the game.
It had a new mode in it where you had to get a certain amount of cars in a race. You had to take that many out.
Right.
There was more extra modes to it, but I'm a big Burnout fan.
Was Burnout 3 the one where, or maybe it's in all of them, I don't know, but there was one that I was obsessed with, where you went online and you had a game where it was, there were 8 of you, 4 of you, however many, and you had the same bit of, short bit of road, and you had to go and cause as much damage as you could in 20 seconds or something. Was that
Crash
Burnout
Junction.
3?
I think that's it.
Crash
isn't it?
Junction,
Yeah.
man, that was a game. What a, just senseless, mindless violence.
I like that it never came to terms with you would be horribly, horribly dead by the end of every instant.
Oh, it was awful. And you'd crash into a tanker and that would explode and swerve and hit a bus, and then that would hit the ice cream van, and then if you were lucky, you had the time was ticking out, and if you were lucky, some cars would come around the bend and they wouldn't see what you'd done, and they'd smash into that.
It was slow-mo around you.
And you could do aftertouch as well.
Yeah, the aftertouch.
So you're right. You could actually curl it around into some other cars.
Oh, yeah. What? That was Burnout 3, was it?
Yeah, they brought the aftertouch in at that stage. Crash Junctions were in from number 2, I think. But
oh man,
very cool.
Yeah, I'm having some of that. Well, there was Burnout Revenge. Is that any good? Because again, that's another game I found. I loved Revenge.
I loved Revenge.
What's the difference between it?
Revenge is more about what they've added is that you can enrage other cars and they'll come after you.
Oh, okay.
So it's sort of adding in
cool.
the sort of live element in single player mode.
Yeah.
But I didn't get Paradise,
right?
Because I played the demo and I really didn't take to it, to be honest.
Yeah.
But apparently it's really good live, but not very good single player.
Okay, well, let us know what you think of the forums. What else have they suggested, Jane?
Well, Steve36 mentioned Ico, which is what made me think of it. Final Fantasy 9, which I haven't actually played. Sorry,
I'm sorry, but the whole Final Fantasy stuff, I can't buy into.
I like some of them and not others so much. What else have we got? Axion741 says Commando Strike Force.
Wow, I've never heard of it.
No?
But it sounds like the most exciting. What a brilliant title for a game! Does it say what format it's for?
It's a PC game, and it's a first-person shooter. But it was like the 5th in a series, and all the previous games were real-time strategies. So I think it got panned because it had suddenly jumped genres, and it was competing with all the big FPSs, at the same time.
This is not similar at all, but for some reason it's popular. Do you remember? Is it Tiny Soldiers? Small soldiers, where you were like these tiny little soldiers. And you were like the commander of these tiny soldiers, and you had to do like missions, like you had to go into someone's shed and steal some hedge trimmers. I may be making this bit up slightly, but because you're tiny, you had to. It was all really.
Was that Army Men?
Oh, maybe.
Because Small Soldiers was the film,
Small
wasn't
Soldiers
it?
was the film with David Cross. Maybe it was Army Men. Yeah.
And it was there was a whole string of Army Men games that came out.
Maybe that was it. Yeah, that was quite good fun. So it was quite good fun. Then after a while, it became very frustrating and slightly tedious, I think. But this is fun. I could talk about all this stuff for ages. Right, sorry.
Right,
yes.
Ali Cat mentioned Okami, which we've already covered, and Metroid Prime Corruption, which I don't think was that underrated.
I don't know them.
It was the Metroid Prime game for the Wii.
Oh, okay. It slipped me
recent.
by. But as Metroid Prime, they're quite big and always do quite well, don't they?
I think so. Maybe the Wii game didn't do as well as it should, but I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah.
Right. What else have we got?
I tell you another thing that this is. Sorry. Go
ahead.
No, you two youngsters won't remember this. In the olden days, when we used to play games on computers, before we had consoles, anything fancy like that, we had like Dragon 32 or a BBC Micro or Commodore 64. Some games didn't have any pictures. They were text-based adventure games.
I've played these. I've played these.
Oh, bless you.
Commodore 64, text-based adventures.
You say it now, and it's like my granddad telling me about a stick and a hoop. It's that. What? There were no pictures. And they were great, you are in a room. By the way, there was no speaking, it was written on the screen. You are in a room. There is a door to the east and a door to the west. There is a table in front of you with a bag on it. What do you want to do? And you go north. And they were... I'm kind of... as you know, I'm a big retro fan, and I've got this museum in my spare room that I'm actually having to fight. The fight has started as to whether we keep it as a museum or it becomes actually a spare room. But that's the private discussion I'll have with my girlfriend. I will end up losing it. But I'm thinking what I may do this month is I'm going to dig out, possibly on the BBC or the Dragon, an old text-based adventure, and have a good proper, a couple of hours session on it, and see whether we're actually, as the young people today, are missing out on an immersive environment where you actually actively have to use your imagination to see what's going on, or whether they were a load of old guff.
They could be incredibly frustrating when you take the bag, and they're like, I don't know what you mean by take the bag. You get the bag. I don't know what you mean by get the bag.
Yeah, snatch bag. Yes, I've got. Okay, and if you get frustrated and you just type like "f off," and some of them would have a sense of humour and go, "Please don't speak to me like that." They'd have that kind of thing, and it's so I may have a go. You played them, did you?
I did. Do you have an iPhone by any chance?
I do have an iPhone.
There is an iPhone app that is based on... You can download text-based adventures onto the iPhone.
Excuse me?
Yes.
Really? What's
Seriously?
it called?
I'll have to look it up.
Okay.
But I'll
and it's text-based adventures? So
Yeah,
it's like
for
Go
the
North,
iPhone. Yeah.
Light Lamp,
Yeah.
Kill Beast.
Yeah. I think they're, ports of classic text-based adventures.
Oh, flipping heck.
Do you remember the old Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy one as well?
I do remember that, yes.
Yeah, that's online on the BBC site. You can play that on there.
Was that the one that was the very first room? Was it almost impossible to get out of?
Yeah, because if you took too many turns,
Yeah.
then your house just got bulldozed.
Yeah,
and that was the end of the
yeah.
game.
You,
Yeah.
and you had to do something like you had to melt. There was a block of ice, and you had to melt the ice with a hairdryer or something.
Later on, yeah,
I
it was
don't know.
quite strange.
And if you forgot to take the towel with you,
You screwed. You couldn't win.
later in the game it just all went wrong.
I do remember that. Yeah,
Have you got your towel? No.
Too bad.
Game over. Start again. They were very. Well, I will check the iPhone application, and we'll have a go on. Possibly the BBC, I'm thinking, because it's easier to type on. And I will report back next week as to whether we're missing anything.
Yes. Right.
Any other games on the forum that we should mention?
I think we've covered the best of them.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, I've been sent a toy this week,
All right.
and it's the one toy, and I'm not doing this as a plug because who knows, it could be a load of guff. It's the one toy that could make me dust off my PS3. I got sent rather excitingly. This is one of the Play TV boxes. Now
cool.
this is the thing. I was looking at it online because I know nothing about it. You plug it into your PlayStation, it becomes like a Freeview recorder, doesn't it?
Oh, yes.
I
yes.
think, but I don't. Do you know? I don't know if I can be bothered because I've got the Sky, and I'm thinking, well, that's going to. The only good thing about this is that apparently, I don't know how easy this is. You can link it up to your PSP, and if your PSP is connected to Wi-Fi anywhere around the world, you can watch what's on your hard drive. I think, which sounds like a good thing, but it sounds like a lot of hassle. Have you heard anything about this? I mean, I'm not. As you know, I'm not convinced by the PlayStation 3, and I don't know if this is worth me.
Well, give it a go and let us know what you think, but I'm not sure how it's going to work out.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Nick, have you heard anything about this at all?
So basically, it works like a sling box. Yeah.
He's not heard anything about it at all, has he? Now, a sling box, what's that? That's where you can watch Sky anywhere in the house, is it?
Well, no, anywhere in the world. It's
really?
It's
Really?
a box that plugs into your.
Oh, so that technology exists already. Then why am I getting so excited about this? Why do I not have a sling box in my house? Suddenly, this is like, well, who cares? This is going on eBay.
Well, there you go. No, the sling box does plug into your set-top box, and
Right.
then you can access what you're watching from your PC or any PC that you like.
Really? Wow.
But
the
that's
21st
cool.
century is brilliant. I didn't know this existed. Everyone listening to this is going, what an old idiot. He doesn't know. But I guess the gimmick with this is you can watch it on your PSP.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Yeah, because if you're on the go and you've got your PSP on the train or whatever, that'd be ace.
Well, I will tell you what. Well, this is my. I've set myself homework.
Homework.
For goodness sakes! Right. Okay. As well as looking at the iPhone application and playing an online adventure, I will have a go at this this month, and I will report back as to whether it's any good. And I shall try and watch. I don't know, Dragon's Den on my PSP somewhere, and we'll see how that goes.
Cool.
Excellent. Sounds good.
It sounds like I've set myself a load of work to do.
Don't forget Gears of War. And,
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Nick, for goodness. Okay, yes. Right, hang on. So homework, Gears of War. Okay, right. We'll do that. Is there anything else on the forum that needs to be discussed?
It was really positive this month in
It
the forum,
was positive.
actually, which was nice.
I always enter the forum with trepidation. Think I'm going to get a kick in this week, but they were very friendly, and they said that there was one thing that they picked up on they don't like.
What's that?
The music.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They don't like the
music and
music.
sound effects.
Now, obviously,
Some people like it.
who?
Not in this month. Nonce forum.
Your mum likes it.
Yeah.
But obviously, there are people saying, well, wouldn't it be great to have the music from this game and that?
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, there's issues of copyright, and we couldn't do that.
Yeah.
But is there what if you could pick one game to nick the music from for this?
Resi 2. You know, that kind of piano music,
Oh,
spooky atmosphere. I don't know
yes.
if it'd be entirely suitable, but it would be my choice.
It'd be good to do like a spooky version of this.
Yeah,
Like
for
in
Halloween.
a cavern with like dripping water. Nick, is there a game that you'd...
Manic Miner.
Oh, no, really? That would give everyone a migraine. It was the most... What was the song it played on the title page?
I'm too uncouth to know the
Oh, I
actual name.
can't remember. But that was... music was... I mean, Manic Miner is a classic game, and Matt Smith, man, well, I've met him and, wow. what a character. Let's just say that's probably within the bounds of the right side of libel. But that music would give everyone a migraine.
Yeah, but it'll give you... It's good nostalgia music, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it is good nostalgia music. I don't know what... Oh, I don't know what I'd have, actually. There's Halo music. I'd have the Halo music,
Oh, that
actually.
is
Oh,
good.
that's a good
Yeah.
shout.
That is brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the choirs and stuff, and
Yeah.
I'd have some of that.
Well, that's a
Yeah.
Bungie Microsoft game. Maybe we can... Hang
On, those guys are
can engineer
those guys
that.
are paying our wages, aren't
Yeah.
they? Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will be
We'll
able to
look
swing
into it.
that easy, yeah.
I know one of the
This
guys.
time next month.
I don't want to drop names. I won't drop his name. So I can't remember. I know one of the guys that worked on Halo 3. One of the programmers on it. So I'll send him a little message on the Xbox Live and see if he'll.
We want your music.
Yeah, can we have your music, please?
Have some words.
On that note, with us trying to strong-arm the Halo people to give us their music, we'll end it there, shall we?
I think that'll be fine. Okay, thanks very much. If you've got anything to say, anything to suggest, then come over to the message boards at tech.uk.msn.com.
Yes, please do suggest things that you want us to talk about and things that maybe you want me to write in the column. I know what I'm writing about this time. It's how many boxes you've got under your telly. I've counted, I've got way too many, which is what's putting me off the Sky Play thing. But yes, do come and suggest things that you'd like us to talk about. I think that's only fair enough.
Well, then that's it. Till next time. See you then.
Thanks.
Cheers.
Gamecast from MSN.